Ladies and gentlemen, that was my cue to start when it says recording in progress. And so it is. All our webinars are recorded for posterity in a manner of speaking. Now, today we have Dr. Savita. I have known Dr. Savita for several decades. Now, I'm a physiologist and Dr. Savita is a psychologist. I deal with the body by and large, and Dr. Savita deals with the mind. And like I said, we have been working together for several decades. Now, some time back, when I say some time back, I really mean several years back, could even be decades back, we were promoting or conducting a seminar on obesity, and Dr. Savita mentioned that she would like to speak. This is several decades back. Nowadays, we request her to speak, but in those days, she asked if she could speak, and I said, but why? This is a seminar on obesity and weight loss. Fitness, nutrition, calories, exercise. These are the type of things we will be talking about. It has no connection with psychology. So why? And she said, okay, Professor, allow me to educate you. Anorexia, bulimia, eating disorders are psychological. They have physiological effects, but they are psychological. If you talk about fitness, poor body image is a part of psychology. And beyond that, there are several other factors. Social isolation, increased loneliness. It impacts the brain and it plays with the hormones, results in addiction. Now, these are psychological factors related to obesity. Chronic comorbidities, hypertension, psychosomatic problems, hypertension, diabetes, etc. These are psychological. Poor quality of life, lower mortality. I said, Professor Savita, thank you very much for enlightening me. And since that day, friends, several decades back, Dr. Savita has been an important part of our seminars, but she is much more than just a psychologist. And allow me to exemplify this. When I see her profile, and I have a few notes written down over here, but when I see her profile, I notice that she's a clinical psychologist from Mumbai University. She did wellness management, preventive and promotive healthcare from the prestigious Apollo Hospitals Education Research Foundation. She went on to do her PhD in clinical psychology and ended up even lecturing at Harvard. She has 2 decades of clinical experience. Having experience is one thing, but Dr. Savita set up the psychiatry and psychology department in the Tata Main Hospital, the prestigious Tata Main Hospital, and she was largely instrumental in setting up wellness and corporate health in Apollo hospitals, where she worked for several decades. She is now on her own. And while she was in Apollo, she was accessible. Now she is what I may refer to as over busy. She has conducted seminars, and we are grateful to have her with us today. She has conducted seminars in, you go through the route, XLRI, IIM, CII, and even in the UAE. Of course, I did mention Harvard earlier. Her subjects are vast. She goes from stress management to, there, her CV is up there, her profile is up there. She goes from stress management to sleep management to parenting to smoking cessation and several other subjects. I mustn't forget two aspects of Dr. Savita. She is an author. You know, when we created this promotive healthcare program, we put together 8 or 9 books, and all those 8 or 9 books appear in several other locations in the internet. And I have to tell you that her books get the biggest and the most frequent rave reviews. 2 books and a booklet for the Confederation of Indian Industry. I noticed that Dr. Savita is viewable on our screen. Ladies and gentlemen, you are right. She is a movie star. And when I say that, what I really mean is that she has been associated with NDTV, multilingual, 26 episodes in English, 13 episodes in Hindi. She is the most sought after psychologist in Hyderabad and my dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I leave your mind, as my friends would say, in the good hands of Dr. Savita.
Hi, friends. Good morning. Good morning, Professor Kennedy and Dr. Wilco. Thank you so much for inviting me. Good morning to all the participants over there. I must tell you all that having Professor Kennedy introduce me to all of you is extremely good for my ego. I do not know whether all of the things that he said really fit about me, but it really does feel good. So thank you so much, Professor. I am going to now try and share Dr. Wilco, you can see my slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and now it's on the screen? I mean, it's completely
absolutely, slideshow.
Okay.
But Dr. Savita, we can't seem to see you. Dr. Wilco, can you see Dr. Savita?
Yes, sir.
On.
Okay,
she's
good.
viewable.
She's viewable. Excellent.
Okay, friends, I thought that you are going to get a lot of sessions that are very technical, very informative. And while I do plan to give you information, simply because the mind is little understood and more misunderstood. And therefore, I'm going to give you information when it comes to the mind for you to understand and for you to try and implement in your life. But I would also like to keep our session a little chit-chatty so that you feel comfortable and not overwhelmed that now this mind is a new angle for me to figure when it comes to my weight loss journey. And it's going to be impossible now. I don't think that I can get this done in my lifetime at all. That's not a feeling that I want to leave you behind with. Let me start by just talking about a small little thought, let's say. Imagine that you want to build a wall, okay? And you say, I'm going to do it with my own 2 hands. I'm going to build this wall. How will you build this wall? You will build this wall 1 brick at a time. Can you build this wall from the top to the bottom? No, you can't. From the left to the right? Not really. You will build this wall from the bottom to the top, 1 brick at a time. That is how you are going to build this wall, 1 brick at a time. And the reason I'm emphasizing this and saying this again and again is because this is your weight loss journey. It has to be 1 brick at a time. The problem that very often happens is the moment you get on your weight loss journey, you see an advertisement that says that the weight loss program is on, the most famous program of UAE is on, let me enroll, and now let me quickly lose weight. There is no quick weight loss that can be sustained. Any sustainable weight loss program is only 1 brick at a time. People don't only want to lose weight all of a sudden, very quickly, in the next few months. People don't only want to do that with weight loss. People also want to become rich quick. Now ask yourself, is there any way by which you can become rich quick? Many people want to. They say, oh, I have this uncle who became rich very quick. I'm going to sit with him and intern with him and understand what he did, and I'm going to do the same thing. Some people say, I'm going to start playing poker, and poker is going to earn me a lot of money. Some people go for a lot of schemes that are advertised or a lot of phone calls that you may get talking about get rich quick schemes. Those of you who have got a gray hair or two will realize that there is no such thing as get rich quick. Similarly, friends, there is no such thing as lose weight quick. It is one brick at a time. I emphasize it once again. But when you do get on the journey, when you do stick to the journey, the end of the journey or the journey itself becomes beautiful. You may lose just 2 kilos a month, but if you have stuck to your journey for 6 months, can you imagine how much you have lost? 2 into 6 months, that is 12 kgs. Now, 12 kgs is probably more than you have lost in a long, long time. If you stick to your journey for a year, you will have lost 24 kg. And that's a big deal. And then if you lose weight, maybe 3 to 4 kgs in the first 6 months, you are just going to get more and more of a bonus. There are many gifts that you will receive along the way, friends. You will be able to manage your blood pressure. You will be able to manage your blood sugar. You will be able to manage your heart health. Even better, you will be able to manage your lung health. You will not feel breathless as you climb your steps. You will not feel uncomfortable going for a workout because you're just gasping for breath all the time. Your heart and lungs will feel much better. Your blood will become much healthier, and your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your cholesterol, all of these will be good within the range. Your skin will feel better. Your mind will feel so much calmer. You will sleep so much better and wake up feeling so much more refreshed and lighter. Your mind will work with more clarity. Along the way, I will discuss with you, the better you sleep, the more you sleep, the better is your weight loss journey. People who sleep much less, say about 4 hours a day, tend to put on weight more. You will imagine that sleeping more is being lazy. Not so, friends. Sleeping more has nothing to do with laziness. Sleep is where the body repairs and heals itself. So the better you sleep, the more you tend to lose weight. Some other benefits, some other rewards. Friends, you can actually start touching your own toes. Not other people's toes, but your own toes. You can actually bend down and touch your toes if you lose weight. You can tie your shoelaces even standing. How long is it since you have done that? Romance could be in the air. That may have been something that you may have aspired for, but something that escaped you often. There are many, many rewards, friends. Shopping could become really fun because you could find a lot of clothes in your size, which otherwise you may have struggled with. One more thought. You always escaped the mirror. You didn't want to look at the mirror because of what the mirror showed you. Voila. The mirror is going to become your best friend now. You can't stop looking at yourself along your journey at this mirror that is telling you a good story after a long, long time. So there are many benefits with weight loss. But what is weight loss about? That is something that this session aims to give you a little more information about. So we would imagine that weight loss is simply a math of what you eat and what you put out in terms of exercise and so on and so forth. So on the left are things that I imagine you have already spoken about: the food that you eat, the activity that you put out, how you balance your calories, how good your metabolism is, so on and so forth. And some of the steps that we usually follow when it comes to weight loss is you get yourself assessed, your weight, your BMI, all of those things. You create a diet plan for yourself. You sit down with a nutritionist and so on. And you also talk to your exercise therapist, your gym trainer, and you work out a very good exercise plan. You're set to go. 1, 2, and 3 is your secret for weight loss. Isn't that right? Some of you succeed. Good news. Many of you don't really succeed, or if you do succeed, you keep going back and forth with 1, 2, 3, and you think that there is something wrong with you. This journey is not working with you. There is something wrong with you. So then you go to step 5, which is medical management, and your doctor may put you onto medication. And there is one medication that was created, if I'm not mistaken, it was created in the United States, which is where most drugs originate from, because they have this amazing pharma industry. And so medical management could give you a wonder drug that has come out in the last few years called Ozempic. It was made to manage your diabetes, but it is being used more and more today to manage weight. Some of the biggest stars around you, if you read up a little bit, they're all fans of Ozempic because they're all losing weight. Friends, losing weight is one part of the journey. Will Ozempic help you to keep that weight off? That is your journey. So medical management will give you one part of the journey, but not necessarily the bigger other part of the journey. And for some other people, step 6 becomes necessary. If you have more weight than your body can sustain, than your knees can sustain, and that starts giving you a lot of comorbidities. So most of us will use step 1, 2, 3. Some of us will use 5, and some of us may even use 6. We think that the number 6 may be very small. Not so, friends. 580,000 a year are going in for bariatric surgery. So by no stretch is it a small number at all. Now, some of you may think that the speaker seems to have forgotten step 4, right? I haven't spoken about behavior. I've spoken about 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And it's as if I haven't noticed step 4. You know why? Because most of us in the weight loss journey don't see step 4. We miss step 4, which is the behavioral management leading to weight loss. And that is, in a manner of speaking, the secret ingredient that you cannot afford to omit. Step 4 is about your behavior management. It is about your mind management, your mindset. And finally, it is about your habit management. And unless there is a change in these areas, you can keep going on with 1, 2, 3. It's going to be a yo-yo journey. You can go to 5. It will be another difficult yo-yo journey. Your body is also paying the price, remember, for all the medication you put into it. And then you go to step 6, and even step 6 can be a yo-yo journey where you go in for bariatric surgery, you lose 40, 50, 60 kilos of weight, but you do not follow step 4, which is behavioral management, and you will look around you or investigate a little, and you will find that there are people who have put on weight even after step 6. That is the reality, friends. Now, coming to diet management, the step 1, step 2 part. Coming to diet management, here are some calories that you can consume, and here are some calories that you can help yourself to burn. And together, step 1 and step 2, if you follow it through, will surely give you weight loss. This is the math of weight loss. And so therefore, if you look at this egg-shaped circle, egg for a reason, I'm sure. If you look at this egg-shaped circle, if you consume 2,500 calories a day, and if this is how you spend those 2,500 calories, then you have a fit body. I don't know about slim, but you definitely have a fit body. It is trim. You don't have any extra weight on you, only what is permissible for you. So you have a trim body, a fit body. And what is the 200, 500 calories that you have burned? 1,200 calories has gone towards your sedentary metabolism, which means all the internal body organs and all the systems that are functioning are consuming calories in the work that they are doing. So 1,200 calories is consumed by your body, whether you do anything or not. Another 600 could be consumed if you even have like a semi-physical work, or you're moving around while you're at work, not just sitting at your desk without moving at all. And then if you go for a regular exercise program, a slightly serious exercise program, you could actually give yourself another 700 calories. And together, The math works because you have burnt 700 calories in a day. You have consumed 700 calories in a day. So you're all good. There is no extra calorie, and therefore there is no ounce of weight that you're going to put on. Now, if you look at this other circle over here, here you are burning 1200 calories. You are burning about 600 calories at work, but you seem to have stopped exercising and you are consuming excess calories. Now, 2000 calories is what you are consuming. You may tell yourself, but I'm eating only 700 calories extra. So it's not that big of a deal. It's only 700 calories extra. But friends, have you noticed that you have also stopped burning 700 calories? So you have stopped burning 700 calories and you have started consuming 700 extra calories. Now you have 1400 calories extra that are not utilized. 1400 calories. 1400 calories, if I'm not mistaken, will give you a kilo of weight extra in a week. Professor Kennedy, would you like to confirm that? This is really more your territory.
Whatever
Okay.
you say is right, ma'am. You're absolutely right.
Okay. So a little bit, just a little bit. I didn't exercise for a week and I ate more for a week. A simple way to look at it, friends, could be that if for any reason I'm attending a function, I'm attending a wedding, I am traveling for 7 days, it's going to be very difficult for me to exercise. Sure, it happens to all of us at different times in our life. We all travel, we all go for a lot of functions. That is the reality. And let's be real, this is going to happen. So what do? If it is going to happen, can you possibly reduce your calorie intake a little bit then? If you can't do anything with the circle that you have over here, then can you look above the circle and say, can I knock down my 2500 calories during the time that I'm traveling, during the time that I'm attending a lot of events? I know that there is a very big spread for lunch and I will have a heavy lunch. Maybe I can just have a soup for dinner. So something for you to think about. But bottom line, friends, all these slides, which is the math of weight loss, works. But it works if you are already invested in your weight loss journey, which means you are motivated, you are driven, you are thinking about your exercise, you are thinking about your food intake, and you are juggling a little bit to make sure that all is good at the end of the day in terms of your calorie balance. For a person who is well motivated, this journey, this math actually works. What about those people who are struggling in this journey? Does this math really work for those people? Is it simply a journey of calories in, calories out? Is it just a height weight chart? Is it just your BMI calculation? It is more than that, friends, because you are struggling. You are gaining more than you are losing. And the more you gain, the more demotivated you are becoming, the more depressed you're becoming, the more unhappy you are becoming. So this math is not working for people who are struggling because they are demotivated, they are down and dejected, which means their mind is not in this journey, right? If you're motivated, it is your mind that is keeping you in this journey. But if you are demotivated and you're not able to follow this math, the way it has been put down over here, then what is the missing link? The missing link is that your mind is not in this journey and hence you are struggling and you tend to gain more than you tend to lose when you're on this journey. Bear this in mind, friends. Let's take a quick look at this slide over here. There are many lines, there are many little squares, black and white. Take a quick look and tell me, where do these lines cross? Quickly, you can just type in your information in the chat box and Dr. Wilko will look at it and he'll keep giving me a commentary of what is coming up in the chat box. Very quickly, take a look and tell me, where do the lines cross? Do they cross? Or is it possible that they don't cross? Yes, friends, in fact, the lines do not cross. The lines do not cross, which means that while they appear to cross, They do not actually cross. Some of you may call this an illusion. Some of you might call this a trick. But what this really is perception. This is what perception is about. Now, to give you an example of how perception works, some of you may have told yourself, I think I need to buy a new car in the next few months, 3 to 4 months. I think I need to take a good look at a good car and I need to buy a car. And the moment you say that to yourself, notice how you start noticing all the different cars that have come into the market in UAE. There are more and more. UAE is already full of brilliant cars, but you suddenly start noticing how many different cars there are. And then you decide, no, I've always bought black and white cars. I'm sick of it. I want to buy a red colored car. And now you start noticing that there are many different red colored cars on the street also. There are people like you who want to look at red. So now you start noticing the red colored cars. And then you tell yourself, I want to buy a red colored Mercedes. I don't think that there is a red colored Mercedes. And then you start noticing, friends, that there are a few red colored Mercedes as well. So what is happening? Why were you oblivious to all this information and suddenly you're noticing everything? You're noticing everything because your perception is guided in this direction. And because your perception is now guided in the direction of cars and red Mercedes cars, you actually start noticing what there is out there. This is how a perception works, friends. It doesn't work sometimes, it works sometimes depending upon what is in your mind. And most of the times, it is that part of your mind that you are not really aware of that is influencing your perception, which means your unconscious mind, which is the bigger part of your mind, is more often than not influencing your perception. So if you take a look at this mind, Dr. Wilku, I'm doing okay for time?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, absolutely.
We have completed about half an hour. How much time do I have?
20 minutes you can carry, maybe 25 minutes. No problem.
Okay, I'm going to try and maybe skip a few slides and speed up things a little bit.
Okay.
So look at, I won't quote you some research. There is a very interesting research here on the Russian scientist called Pavlov. Read up on this and you will see the connection with conditioning and your unconscious mind. Pavlov trained his dog. We have trained ourselves without realizing. What happens when you sit in front of the television and want to watch some good movie for a while? What is your right hand itching to do? Your right hand is itching to put some popcorn in your mouth as you are lazing around watching some good show on your TV, right? You don't really realize what is happening, but this is a conditioned response where if you watch TV, you automatically pair it with what? Popcorn, okay? If you finish dinner, you automatically look for what? You look for some dessert. So dinner and dessert gets paired together when it doesn't necessarily need to be. And that becomes a problem with your perception and your mind not helping you when it comes to your weight loss journey. So let's look at the identity of a person who puts on weight and how they start accepting this identity and how this identity then becomes the biggest problem for them in terms of weight loss. A person puts on a little bit of weight, people say, oh, you seem to have become a little plump. People put on more and more weight, and then that person with more and more weight is referred to as my sweet little dumpling, my little pumpkin, and so on and so forth. And you are supposed to think it is sweet. You don't like it. You don't necessarily feel happy and comfortable with it. But you don't want to be this difficult person fighting all the time. And so you accept it. And then what's worse, you start laughing at yourself before other people start laughing at you. So it becomes a joke. And then that becomes your identity. One of the first things that you need to do is change this identity, start seeing yourself in a different way completely. And for that, your coping has to change. Every time you are tired, you come home, do you have to fill yourself up with a lot of comfort food? Not necessarily. You're sad, you're depressed. Do you have to give yourself the best chocolate that there is at home? Not necessarily. There could be other things that you do. So when you change your coping mechanism, you could say, when I'm really angry, I'm going to just put on my sneakers, run out of the house, and I will just jog in front of my house for 5 minutes and come back. Not more than 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. And my anger will be gone by then. And it definitely will be gone by then. If for no other reason, friends, because you're out of breath. So you have no time and no bandwidth to be angry at that time. So if you start changing your coping mechanism, if you start responding to your emotionality in different ways, I'm sad, that doesn't mean I have a chocolate in my hand. I am anxious, that doesn't mean that I eat a bowl of chips. I'm lonely, that doesn't mean that I have a nice carby pasta diet. It doesn't mean that I could replace these conditioned habits with some other habits. And along the way, I will actually start coping with the issue, not just temporarily coping, but actually coping with the issue. So changing your identity becomes a big part of weight loss, friends. See yourself differently. Don't see yourself as this little pudding that everybody finds cute and roly-poly and cracks jokes at, and you also crack jokes at yourself. Change your identity. However, this journey can only work if you take baby steps in this journey. So let's say you make a plan. I am going to make sure that I change weight. From tomorrow, I will go for 1 hour of exercise. I will cut down my diet to 1500 calories. I will get 1,000-calorie weight loss. I will stop buying food from this particular store. I will try and cook food at home. I'm going to quit dessert completely, etc., etc., etc. It's a wonderful plan. Will it work? Tough. It's tough for this plan to work. You know why? Any thoughts, any guesses why? Because there are too many elements in this plan. And therefore, there are too many things that could go wrong. A sustainable plan is something that is small. That is what I said to you right in the beginning of the session. One brick at a time to make this wall. So make a sustainable plan. Now let's understand this. You have habits that are not healthy, and you have habits that you would like to bring into your life that are healthy. So let's look at a list of unhealthy habits that you have, and let's make a list of healthy habits that you want to bring in. If you feel that you have the bandwidth, then let's make a plan with just 2 items. One habit that you want to get rid of, and one habit that you want to bring into your life. One healthy habit comes in, and one unhealthy habit goes out, and that's it. It's a small plan. And if even this does not work because you feel that, no, I'm not able to do this. You've tried it for a week or two, it doesn't work. Doesn't matter, friends. Don't lose hope. Simply quit one unhealthy habit. Do not worry about bringing in a healthy habit right now. Simply work on giving up one unhealthy habit. That's it. Only one brick at a time. Only one baby step at a time, friends. That is very doable. Do not think that it is giving you no returns at all. It is giving you a big return. Imagine that you say, okay, from today, I will not have that slice of cake that is about 300 to 400 or maybe 600 calories with all its chocolate and sugar and so on and so forth. I will only quit dessert after dinner. Imagine that's the only step you have taken. One unhealthy habit that you are quitting, nothing else. You have not changed anything else. You have not stopped eating your pasta, your burgers, your Coke, nothing. Everything remains the same. You have done one thing, and that is quit your dessert after dinner. You will be cutting down at least 500 to 600 calories a day. In a week, you will be cutting down about a kilo. In a month, 3 to 4 kilos. It shows 3 to 4 kilos will show that, okay, this is giving me some return. Now you are a little more motivated at the end of a month. Now you can add one more brick. Now you can add one healthy habit. At the end of a month, when you're more motivated with quitting just one dessert a day, now you add, okay, I will walk for 20-25 minutes. Every day, I will walk for 20-25 minutes. Don't go for that hour. Go for 20-25 minutes. After another week, you are a little more motivated. Now increase this 20-25 minutes to 30-35 minutes, and so on. My suggestion is, friends, add one brick at a time to your weight loss plan. Make it habit-based. Do not make it diet-based, exercise-based, number-based, calorie-based. Make it habit-based, because your brain does not work in terms of calories. Your brain, your mind works in terms of habit. What does your brain struggle with? If you say, I'm going to quit 100 calories, does your brain even wrap itself around that? No, it doesn't make any meaning. But if you say, I will quit dessert, that makes a lot of difference to your mind. That is what you need to base your weight loss program on. One habit at a time, not calories, not numbers, not exercise, calories that you burn in exercise. Don't make a number-based diet. Make a habit-based diet, a behavior-based diet, friends. Let's take a look at this and let's play a little game. A substance your body does not need, but you cannot do without. Let's think of this, friends. Let's think of a substance that you consume that your body does not need, but you cannot do without it. Truth time, friends. Let's all of us quickly write down in your chat box one substance, just one substance that you consume in a day and you feel, I just can't do without it. It could be your cold coffee with lots of cream in it. It could be that mango milkshake. It could be that rich chocolate ganache. It could be any one of these things. Put down just one item. Now ask yourself, is it really giving your body any benefit? No. A substance that your body does not need. That is the substance that we are talking about. But why are you not able to give it up? You know that this chocolate ganache is not going to do anything good for your body, no matter what research seems to indicate every day. Today, coffee is good for your body. Tomorrow, chocolate is good for your body. God knows what will be good for your body the day after. Keep using your common sense, friends. Don't base your life on the research that is ever changing. I have nothing against research, but let the researchers make up their mind on what is good and what is not good. In the meanwhile, you rely on what your common sense is telling you. And therefore, if that chocolate ganache is not needed by your body, but you seem to not be able to quit it, there is a problem here. It would seem, are you addicted to dessert? Are you addicted to that milkshake and therefore you're not able to quit it? Ask yourself this question, friends. Is it an addiction that is bothering you? Is it a helplessness that is something that you're not able to move away from? What is behind this? You might imagine that when I talk about addictions, it only applies to drugs, or it applies to alcohol, or it applies to tobacco, or shisha. All of this, friends, there are addictive substances like alcohol, marijuana, etc., etc. But there are non-drug addictions also. And that is what we are talking about over here. Gambling is a non-drug addiction. Overeating is also a non-drug addiction. Shopping is a big addiction. Shopping is something that UAE is famous for. People love to come to UAE, get a nice, good holiday because they can do a lot of shopping. Now, shopping is wonderful. It feels so good, but it could also go in the area of an addiction. Let's talk about overeating, friends. Ask yourself this question. Am I not able to quit because this is an addiction? And what happens in an addiction, friends? In an addiction, what happens is you see the little pink part in the brain that is described in this picture over here. That little pink part is your prefrontal cortex. It is above the middle of your forehead. It is the newest part of your brain. And what this prefrontal cortex does is it wants a reward. From time to time, it wants a reward. That is how it functions. It doesn't want to feel dull, bored, and so on and so forth. And it craves for a reward, first of all. And then it craves for certain foods because those foods give you a reward. So if you have yourself a chocolate ganache, then you feel happy, you feel rewarded, you feel satisfied. But very quickly, if you notice, friends, if you think back, that satisfaction goes away. You are not satisfied for too long. After half an hour, 1 hour, or maybe even less, now you want something more. Maybe you give yourself a bowl of chips to make yourself feel satisfied. And then again, that bowl of chips makes you satisfied. And after some time, again, that satisfaction is gone. This is what happens because dopamine is released every time you have that sense of satisfaction from eating some carby food, some chocolate, some dessert, and so on and so forth. And the thing about dopamine is that it keeps you hooked in. Dopamine keeps you hooked into a cycle, which is you crave a certain food, then you consume that food, then you get a reward and a satisfaction. That reward recedes very quickly. So then you're back again to craving food, back again to consuming that food. And this cycle goes on and on and on because of the dopamine that is triggered by our prefrontal cortex. Friends, the biggest part of intelligence in the modern brain is our cerebral cortex, in that the prefrontal cortex. This makes us the most intelligent of all species, even more intelligent than ancient man. However, there is a price to pay that we have to be aware that these rewards are rewards that are good for our body and not just indulgent towards our body. You can indulge your body but get no benefit in return. In fact, pay a heavy price at the end of it. And therefore, ask this question again, friends. Are you addicted? If you are not able to control the substance that you are consuming continuously, then in a manner of speaking, this is an addiction. If you don't control the substance, but the substance consumes you, please ask yourself this question, friends. I am not in control of the substance. The substance seems to be controlling me. If I look at a bowl of pasta, I can't say no. If I look at a burger, I can't say no. I will more likely than not have 2 burgers, and I will also have a glass of Coke along with it. You are not in control. That food is in control. Then this is a serious business. You have to understand that you're bordering on addiction. One way to look at managing of all of this, friends, in terms of mind, look at stress, look at mindfulness, and look at your behavior. A simple example are the 2 bowls that you have on the right side of the slide. So if you look at these 2 bowls, there is a big bowl and there is a small bowl. Now you can have a bowl of chips in this big bowl and it will finish and you'll feel satisfied for a little while. Or you can change, become a little mindful and eat the smaller bowl of chips, but with mindfulness, enjoying each tiny piece of chip that you pick up and put in your mouth, crunch it in your mouth, listen to the sound of the chips crunching in your mouth, the salty taste going inside your body, and so on. And the small bowl of chips will probably give you more satisfaction than the big bowl because you are consuming this bowl of chips, which of course in the first place you should not be, but you're consuming it with mindfulness. And using mindfulness, you can be on your journey and keep on reducing the things that you're supposed to not have in the first place. Eventually, you will be able to get on to the weight that you are intending yourself to. When it comes to behavior, we need to talk about the mindset that you need to have. And in the mindset, let's ask yourself, are you a perfectionist? Are you a perfectionist that says that today I didn't follow my diet? All of today I was just not able to follow my diet. So I'm useless. I'm good for nothing. This is not going to do. I'm never going to be able to get on this journey and stay on this journey. Is all this your self-talk? Is your self-talk full of criticism, full of negativity? Is this the way you talk to yourself? This is your mindset then, friends, and this mindset is interfering with your weight loss journey. So change your mindset. Change the self-criticism. Other people may criticize you, not in your control. You criticize yourself in your control. Tell yourself that today was a slip. You'll get back onto the program tomorrow, and you will get back onto the program tomorrow because you have gotten on this journey because you want to do this journey. So do not make your self-talk a negative, self-critical self-talk. The thing that injures us most, friends, is not other people, it is us. We injure ourselves by a constant barrage of critical self-talk. This is something that we have to change, friends. Let's also take a look at the cues and triggers that come in the way and make us feed ourselves. We spoke about reward already. Now imagine that you have some hard work, a project that you want to really kick off, and you want to concentrate. You tell yourself, I need to concentrate with a cup of coffee with some good amount of sugar in it. So coffee, concentration, and weight gain, they will go together then in that case. I am feeling very stressed, or let's say you've had a hard day's work, you've come home at night, and now you're going to give yourself dinner. What are the chances that you will give yourself a healthy dinner? If you are not a thinking person, chances are that you will give yourself a nice carby dinner without thinking of what that is going to do for the journey that you are on. So tiredness at night, dinner, all of these things are cues and triggers. You discover what cues and triggers push you down the steps, and you become more and more mindful about these cues and triggers, friends. Sleep is a big factor in increasing your weight. Those people who sleep less than 4 hours a night actually have a greater chance of putting on weight. And those people who sleep from 8 hours, even up to 10 hours, actually have a better chance of managing their appetite, managing their consumption of food, and keeping on the weight loss journey much more successfully, friends. So sleep is a very big factor to bear in mind. I'm running through my slides a little bit because I know that I probably have come to the end of my session already. I will use this slide, friends, as my last slide, and thereafter I'd like to leave whatever time I have for question answers because that is more relevant. Friends, the factors that we have over here, I call I factors and they factors. Now, some of the factors here are I factors, which means they are in my control. And some of the factors here are they factors, which means they're not in my control. Now, I'd like to do this journey with you if we were in a face-to-face session. However, since we are all online, let me take this forward. Is the past an I factor or a they factor? Do I have any control over my past? No, it's done. It is written in stone. I cannot change it. And therefore, it is not an I factor. It is a they factor. Let's look at action, for instance. I walk 20 minutes a day. That is my action. Is that in my control? Yes, it is in my control. I may hate to do it. I may have to drag myself to do it, but it is in my control. Friends, if you look at this slide, you will find that if you pick out the day factors from here, you will find that we spend almost all our waking time mulling over and worrying over day factors and spend very little time working on the I factors. Can we just become more aware of this and make a mindset shift which says, I am going to start focusing on the I factors. I will not focus on what gift I got. I will focus on what gift I can give. I will not focus on the past. I'm going to start thinking about the present. So step by step, if you pick up one I factor to focus on, you are a little more in control. And friends, your control does not have to start with diet and exercise. Your control starts with something in your life. Because the moment you feel that I'm gaining some control, then you will add one more factor and one more factor, and diet is pretty close to the second, third factor that you will surely add. So if you choose to focus on the present, then the next factor could be, okay, then I'm now going to start working out. And the next could be that I'm going to start managing my calories. So start anywhere. It does not have to start with working on diet and working on exercise. But when you start your journey of changing your habits, when you start your journey of pulling away from one not so good habit and adding one positive habit, that habit may have nothing to do with your weight loss journey, friends. But the moment you start that journey of changing your habits, soon enough, I assure you, soon enough, you will be on the journey of changing your diet and exercise related habits also, friends. If you look at the 3 circles over there, your environment may not be in your control, your genetics may not be in your control, but the 3rd circle is definitely in your control, friends. And if it is in your control, why don't we treat that as an I factor and focus on that? And why do we say, oh, but my parents were fat, so I'm going to be fat as well? No, your parents were not fat because of genetics. They were fat because they probably did not do anything about the weight that they put on. Your environment is not in your control. Your genetics is not in your control. They are they factors. We have decided not to focus on they factors. Let us focus on that one circle which is in my control, friends. That is you. That is an I factor. Let's start the journey with habits and let's drop one unhealthy habit. Let's pick up one healthy habit, friends. Thank you so much for your time. Dr. Wilko, I'm done.
Friends, yes. Friends, you know, during this session, I had a eureka moment. Oh, for years and years and years, I've been trying to understand the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind, and I have just not succeeded. In a simple way, Dr. Savita, I mean, I guess it's necessary that things are simple for me because I don't have this ability to go into deeper thought. But I can tell you this, my eureka moment was simply this, that the conscious mind is thinking the things you do on a day-to-day basis. Your subconscious mind is sleep and dreaming, and 90% of your unconscious mind is your memories. I've now been able to fathom this out, and my thank you to Dr. Savita for giving me this wisdom. Wisdom is what she has. Now, friends, just look at this. So Dr. Savita spoke about behavior, and she actually created a new diet. I think we have to call this diet the behavior diet. She simply says, don't think about calories and things like that. Modify your behavior. For example, give up dessert and eat vegetables or fresh fruit. Now, that is a behavioral activity. She also said, wisdom. Eat for health and diet for exercise. Friends, the last one, easily implementable. I'm hoping easily implementable. Give up the big bowl and use the small bowl. Great wisdom from Dr. Savita. Friends, I want to thank Dr. Savita for my eureka moment. And now I'll hand this over to Dr. Wilku for the many questions that I'm sure have come up. Dr. Wilku, sir.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Dr. Savita. It was really wonderful session. And as I was expecting, now there are many questions. People are very concerned about what to do, how to do, and how to maintain what they are doing it. That is the main thing, what you also spoke about sustainable weight loss. Ibrahim is little concerned. He has asked, coping mechanism, it's difficult as body is tired once I reach home. Everyone is facing this. So whenever you are on a job, when you return back and you want to plan something for weight loss or exercise, going for a walk, becomes very difficult. So I don't have energy to work out or train how to train my mind to do it. He needs a help how to change his mind to stick to the program.
Yes. Friends, let's look at the reality of the situation. We all work very hard. We all work at home as well as outside of home. We come back home in the evening feeling tired. And now in this tired state, I see that a couple of people other than Dr. Wilko, who is the gentleman you said? What is the name?
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim and others have asked a similar kind of a question. Let's look at this. Put yourself in that position that Ibrahim is asking, okay? You're
Mhm.
home, you're tired, your bones are aching, but you are hungry and you have to cook and feed yourself dinner. Now, what is the reality of this situation? What are you more likely to cook? Will you cook a healthy meal, or are you more likely to cook a 2-minute pasta and add lots of cheese into that, and probably have that? And maybe you've got a frozen mutton cutlet, so you will have that along with it. Lots of red meat and lots of carb and cheese and dairy and all of that, right? Your diet has gone for a toss. First of all, on occasion, we will all do this. As long as it is on occasion, friends, forgive yourself. Tell yourself this is a slip. This is not a miss. This is not a fall. I have not fallen off my diet plan. I have had a slip today. I will do better tomorrow. Now, how do you do better tomorrow? Do you have to have a pasta? Can you make yourself a 2-egg omelette? If you make yourself a 2-egg omelette with lots of veggies in it, it will take the same amount of time, but you will have a healthy meal. You're just changing things around a little bit. In order to not fall tomorrow, in order to not slip tomorrow, you think about it in advance and prepare in advance. Before you leave home, you chop all the vegetables that you're going to put into your omelette. And all you have to do when you come home is beat that omelette with those vegetables that are pre-chopped in your fridge, and you have given yourself a healthy meal. Now, this may work and this may not work. It is an example I'm giving you to tell you that if you are thinking, it is possible to change the tiny things. It is not possible to change the big things, friends, but it is possible to change the tiny things. So spend a little time and do not deny that, yes, there will be slips, but protect yourself from a fall by thinking and replacing a habit which makes you slip to a habit that prevents that slip from happening. The tiny things, pick up the tiny things, and you will be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah, true. Participants have different options for the tea, coffee, dry fruits, and other things. Okay, moving to another question. Sarfraj has asked, because this question we are coming across every time this sort of questions. People are reading a lot in internet and they are very much confused. So, question from Sarfraj is: I read depression can lead to obesity. Is it true? And how to manage depression-related obesity?
Depression could lead to obesity because depression could make you sluggish. Depression could make you inactive and so on. Not depression per se, not in terms of the hormones, but yes, when a person is depressed, you want to just lie down all the time. You want to lie down with your eyes closed, but you are not asleep. This is a common thing that happens with depression. So yes, depression could give you weight gain. If you have the ability and you tell yourself, I will walk 10 minutes only, not more than 10 minutes, but I will walk 10 minutes 2 times a day. It is achievable, friends. It is possible. Yes, you have to push yourself. You may even need to kick yourself, put on those sneakers, get out of the house. If you don't have the energy to get out of the house, just walk in your sitting room. But tell yourself, I will do it for 10 minutes. You know, friends, the chances are if you get down to doing it for 10 minutes, you will very likely do it for 20 minutes. That is the reality of activity, that when you get into activity, your mind loves it, your brain loves it, and therefore it encourages you to do more. Because one of the secrets we don't know is that when you finish exercise, you release a feel-good hormone called endorphin, and the mind likes that. And therefore, the chances are you may need to drag yourself for 10 minutes, but when you do 10 minutes, you will probably do 20 minutes finally. You do 10 minutes twice a day, the chances are increasing that the 10 minutes will increase in the next week and the next week and so on. So I'm coming back to, even if it is depression and you have all the knowledge that is required, but if you don't pick yourself up even just for that 10 minutes, you are not starting any plan. It is important to start a plan, even if it means that you start a plan small. So start a plan, start a very small plan. Do not fall off. One day you miss, another day you miss, but keep getting back onto that plan. The dragging yourself to do the 10 minutes, friends, that is something that you have to do. But if you don't do anything, then before you know, it will be 2 kilos plus, 5 kilos plus, 20 kilos plus, and so on. It will run out of your hands and you will have a Herculean task ahead of you. Friends, at the end of the day, if you have a Herculean task, you will have no choice but to do something, because then your weight will become a health hazard. Better you pick yourself up, kick yourself out of the house, put on your sneakers and do at least the 10 minutes. Better now than when the doctor tells you either you lose weight or I will have to do something or the other, whatever that might be. You don't want to do that, friends.
True. No, this question is asked by Nisha. This is perfectly a question why we have taken the psychology of obesity. This relates to, and many of people may be suffering and feeling of this. Generally seen, obese people have low confidence in social appearing. How does it affect the personality?
Yes, remember I spoke about that slide. What are obese people called when you are at work and you are, let's say somebody is into coding, okay? And you are a brilliant coder. So people in office might say, oh, I want to go to that brilliant coder. Is that your identity? Or nobody tells you to your face, maybe, but do they say, oh, has that fat coder come on duty today? Is that how they refer to you? You do know that behind your back, that is how the fat person gets referred to. Cute, roly-poly, fat, sweet little pumpkin, etc., etc. These are the names that a person will get. Now, what is that doing to your identity? It is shattering your identity. You're smiling, but how tough your life is because you're smiling while you hate the life around you. Even though you hate those comments, you're smiling at those comments. Look at that identity and look at that loss of self-worth. With all of this, do you really want to go out and be with people socially? Because you know that when you're mixing with people socially, several more comments like this are going to come your way. So therefore, this is not an enjoyable journey for you at all. It may be enjoyable and cute for other people, but not for you. Unfortunately, people lack empathy. People don't understand the impact that their comments are having on you. But you are quietly inside your head hating it. And therefore, you don't want to go out because this is what awaits you when you do go out, friends.
Yeah, true. Now, this question is asked by Julissa. I don't think so how this is connected and how you are going to answer this. Her question is new trend of Ozempic and Mounjaro. Does it help with the addiction problem? I don't know what she means about that.
Does it help with?
And
Sorry, does it help with?
Mounjaro addiction problem. Does it help? How you take it as a, because addiction is completely different thing. Ozempic and Mounjaro are
Yeah,
medication which are used for uncontrolled diabetes and it results in weight loss also. But that
yeah,
doesn't causes the addiction because you can't take it for a long time.
yeah.
Uh, what do you think
I
about
will
this?
try and find a connection and say, Dr. Wilku, that uh, your addiction stopped you from managing your diabetes and your weight. Weight is, let's say, from the ground, you have taken one step down, that is overweight. From there, you have taken the second step down, that is diabetes. So now you are in the secondary health category. And from there, if God forbid you take a third step down, then you're in tertiary care, which is that the diabetes has taken you to a cardiac situation or to a kidney situation or what have you, so that is diabetes. And because try as they might, many people are unable to manage their diabetes. So drugs like Ozempic and so on came in. Of course, there were many drugs along the way already, but this came in using the root of weight to create diet management. All right. I'm not a pharmacist, so I will not be able to give you the formula of the drug, but this is what it was intended for, that weight loss will give you diabetes management as well, right? So you find that people who are on this wonder drug have lost a lot of weight, they look miraculously changed and so on. And as a result, a lot of people thought, well, I may not have diabetes, but why shouldn't I use Ozempic for weight loss? And therefore, more people probably are using Ozempic for weight loss than for diabetes. And there are, I think, other drugs like Ozempic that have also hit the market in different countries that have their own pharmaceutical industry and so on. Now, when you look at addiction, the addiction part comes in because you were unable to walk the journey that required you to manage your diabetes and your weight, right? And why were you unable? Because somewhere the unhealthy habits that you had you were addicted to. You were not able to manage them. You were not able to take a step-by-step journey. You thought that I have to manage all of that together, and therefore you were not successful in managing it. And you then had to take recourse to Ozempic. Friends, forgive yourself a little bit. Finally, you need a solution. So you used Ozempic as a solution, but you still need to regulate your lifestyle now, even with Ozempic. So it doesn't mean that I consume Ozempic and then I can continue to lead the same unhealthy life that I did. No, you've got a big support, a big boost with Ozempic, but at least now look at the addictions that you had, which was being unable to say no to even one unhealthy habit at a time, and then start getting your act together a little bit. Don't judge
Yeah,
yourself. Don't judge yourself. Don't cut yourself up into little pieces. Don't go into that self-critical journey, but do boost yourself up a little bit, do motivate yourself a little bit, and pick yourself up to get onto a healthy lifestyle journey. That for sure, friends.
yeah, it was a nice explanation. Abhinav has asked, this is very common for mainly people, those who are very grossly obese. Struggling to reduce weight is a common problem for most of the obese people. How to keep motivated and skip the pitfalls?
Friends, I will go back again. The reason I'm using the wall as an example is because it will stick in your mind. So keep the picture of the wall in your mind. When you put on weight, that wall did not happen overnight, right? You did not build that wall of weight overnight. How did you build that wall of weight? You built that wall of weight by putting one brick at a time. So when your weight gain journey started, you put on 5 kgs, one brick came up over there. Then you put on another 2 kgs, another brick came up. Then you put on another 4 kgs and another brick. And so your weight increase journey was a brick by brick journey. Before you know it, you've got a big towering wall in front of you. And when you look at this wall of weight, you think, this is not something I can do anything about. I can't help myself. This weight is insurmountable, it's impossible, and then you get depressed. And then you start avoiding people and avoiding going out. You hate the mirror, you hate shopping because nothing looks good on you. And it all looks very sad and depressing, doesn't it? But if you put on weight brick by brick, friends, then what is the simplest answer that you can think about? Remember, what works is simplicity. Complicated tricks and ideas do not work. We have a trillion dollar industry on weight loss, and it is not reducing. You know why? Because weight is only increasing. So if all these different hacks were to work, then the industry should have been stabilizing, not increasing by the day. But overweight is increasing by the day, so the industry is increasing by the day. But is it successfully giving people weight loss? That's a big question mark for your mind to think about now. I'm going to refrain from damaging the comfort and success of any industry, but I will tell you, unless the solution is in your hands, it is not a solution. Even if the doctor is going to give you some support, you have to know which doctor, how, this, that, and the other. So take a look at that wall of weight and tell yourself, okay, for the next 3 months, I will only remove one brick. After that, I will look at pulling down one brick and another. And friends, in a year, you will have pulled down 12 bricks. You will never be successful in pulling down 12 bricks if you just look at that trillion dollar weight loss industry, friends. 12 bricks is going to be an extremely difficult task to do. And where you score better than the trillion dollar weight loss industry is, you lost these bricks one brick at a time. This increases your sustainability, which means the sustainability of holding on to this 12 bricks of weight loss are actually very high for you now. Unlike the massive weight loss programs that you have read every time you're on the internet, you get a lot of suggestions on weight loss because someday you did 2-3 type searches on weight loss. After that, you'll keep on getting lots of information on weight loss, constantly telling you to try this, to try some new herb that is available only in the Amazon forest and so on. Well, everybody in South America should be extremely slim then, right? Because the Amazon is close by to them. So look at the wall, take away one brick at a time. When you are done with 12 bricks in a year, then you are a very committed person to this weight loss program because you've done it a little at a time. And you know what has happened, friends? At the end of those 12 breaks, at the end of that 1 year, this new habit of weight loss has become internalized. It is an internal part of you. The struggle to do it has reduced a great deal. It is now a part of you. So you wake up in the morning and you say, let me pack my shoes. I definitely have to do an exercise program. And the day you miss an exercise program, you don't like yourself at all. You kick yourself this time not to go for those 10 minutes of exercise. You kick yourself because you did not go for that 1 hour of exercise. So these new habits have become so internalized that you have a pretty good chance of not falling out of this routine, friends. So this sustainable brick by brick program is something that only you can give to yourself. But you know the other problem with human beings, friends? If a program requires a lot of effort, spend a lot of money, go and talk to a lot of people, torture yourself a great deal, get very little in return. But you will spend a ton of money on these kind of programs. If there is a simple program like this wall in your head, but this wall is a wall of your fat, and it is in your hands to take away one brick in that entire 1 to 3 month period, only one brick. How many of us will commit to something where you don't have to pay a ton of money? That is the problem with us human beings, friends. That the problem is in your hands, the solution is also in your hands, but we look for our answers and solutions all over the world. And the more money we pay, the more we feel justified that we have looked for a solution and worked hard. Friends, problem is with you, the solution is with you and with you only. Take a look at yourself, look inwards for that solution.
Well said. Very true. Another one question, but I will take it in the last if we have time. Nisha has asked another question connecting to her previous one. Body shaming is very common in young girls. How to manage it?
That's a very tough one, friends, and it's extremely tough. And unfortunately, we like young people, we like youth, we like children, but teenagers can be very cruel, unfortunately. They're cruel to their parents, and we all have faced that. They're cruel to each other also. And you know why all this happens? Because a lot of teenagers are extremely insecure. So when you point a finger at somebody else, you don't have to face the finger that is pointing at yourself. So it's very good to get into a group and find somebody to point a finger at, because then the entire attention can go on the person that you're pointing a finger at. And you don't need to look at the finger that has always been pointing at yourself within you, that you're trying to fool yourself about. And so therefore, a lot of teenagers resort to cruel bullying. Body shaming is also a very, very, very cruel bullying. And when you do body shaming, you don't attack the person physically, but what's worse, you are torturing the person mentally and emotionally, and that person suffers a great deal. Beware to those people who go for bullying and body shaming. You are damaging that person's mindset, that person's mind, and there could be consequences. There could be consequences. Some people might go in for some irreversible consequences. People need to know that. Schools need to know that. Teenagers need to know that there could be irreversible consequences. And you, whether the law holds you responsible or not, friends, but you will hold yourself responsible for the rest of your life for the irreversible consequence that you caused another human being. You may become the most successful human being in your locality, but when you go to sleep at night, that irreversible consequence that you caused, that will definitely trouble you and plague you. And that will cause many other connected and not so connected issues in your life. So friends, take a look at yourself, address the finger pointing at you, and you can't change the world. You can't change the teenagers of the world, friends. That is not in your control. It's a they factor. But the I factor is you can change the children that you have in your own home. You can talk to them. You don't have to lecture them, but you can talk to them. You can tell them stories. And in those stories, you can build in the message that you want to give to them, that abuse, bullying, torturing, hurting other people, body shaming, all of these are, you take recourse to this abusive behavior because somewhere you are hurting and you are not looking to find an answer for yourself. Take care of yourself, but don't hurt other people. Build this in the stories that you give to your own children, or if you are a teacher, to your own class of children, and you will be making a huge change in life. Just because you can't change all the children of a school doesn't mean that you can't start somewhere. And these are troubled times, friends. The teenagers of, say, my time were cruel, but not as cruel as they are today. As many of you will have watched, the most talked about web series today is on Netflix called Adolescence. Everybody's talking about it. That is about shaming in one way or the other. They call it incel. It is about shaming. We don't have to get into the details of the discussion, but it is about shaming in one way or the other. You know, friends, just one last line on it, on this. In the younger group, when a lot of this body shaming happens, it is because when a teenager is growing up, the body is more or less formed by the time that you're 16. The mind used to be formed till 16, but new research is indicating that the mind continues to grow till about 24. However, a second part of the mind is formed of two parts. One is the cognitive mind, the thinking mind, which says 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. But the other is the emotional mind that says, I like, I don't like, I'm happy, I'm unhappy. That part of your mind takes years and years and years to form completely. And teenagers lack stability in this part of development. Physically well done, mentally well done, but emotionally still a lot of doing left to be done. And because of that, there are a lot of and because of that, children have impulsive behavior. They indulge in things that they could pay a heavy price for later on. So parents and teachers have to be very sensitive when it comes to dealing with teenagers. It is not
True.
about right or wrong, friends. It is about handling with kid gloves and helping teenagers to go through this period of teenage. That if you help your teenager to successfully go through this period of teenage without making big blunders in life, that itself is the biggest achievement, friends.
Very true. Very true. Then this question, I'm taking the last question. This question is not directly related to your topic, but still, I will request your point of view. How obesity is contributing diabetes, and how can it be completely reversed by change of lifestyle? Professor will be the right person to answer it. But still, your views, ma'am.
I will say for you and me to look at it, I'm not an expert, I'm not a diabetologist. Professor is a lifestyle medicine specialist. He will give his insight into this. But friends, what I said to you earlier, look at it like this. A normal human being is standing at ground level. If you put on a lot of weight, you have taken one step down already. In terms of health, you have taken one step down already. You haven't walked one step up, you have walked one step down. Now, if you were to start an exercise program of 30 minutes, you have actually taken one step up. But without thinking, you have taken one step down. Now, if you continue on this step, you will not remain on this step only for the rest of your life. If you continue on this journey, very soon, before you know it, in a silent way almost, you will take a second step down and you will land up with diabetes or with high blood pressure or with high cholesterol or something. So therefore, become aware, be mindful of the choices you are making, of the behavior that you're indulging in. And even if you get to step one, you can still arrest yourself, you can still pull yourself back. Don't allow yourself to slide down to step two in a silent but unthinking way. You have a mind. We all must use that mind. We can slip, but don't fall by not being mindful. Prof, a little more information from you.
Yeah.
Uh, Seriously, no further explanation necessary. But if you are talking about the relationship between obesity and diabetes, a straightforward relationship would be that obesity, one of the consequences or one of the results of excess food intake is obesity on the one hand. And if you look at what that excess is calories, is carbohydrate. That carbohydrate converts to sugar. Sugar is a correlative factor with diabetes. So all these things are cyclically connected.
Yes, sir. I think
You
all questions
wanted to
will be
ask some
covered.
question at the end.
Pardon, ma'am.
Dr. Bilko, you wanted to ask some question in the end.
Yeah, true. But we have gone through most of the questions. My last request for you will be give a takeaway message, because you know this psychology of obesity is a very vast subject and people struggle to get motivated doing the weight loss journey, and they are struggling to maintain it. That is what I wanted. In 2 lines, a takeaway message: how to control your motivation.
Understand that weight loss is about behavior and not about numbers and calories. Sorry that I'm going against nutritionists and exercise therapists, but weight loss is about behavior and not about calories consumed, burnt. Yes, the detailing is that. There is no denying that. The detailing is that. But for you, your weight loss journey is about behavior management. That is number one. Bear that in mind. It is about behavior management. Why am I saying this? Because the brain does not think in terms of 100 calories, 200 calories. The brain and the mind thinks in terms of a slice of cake, a heavy dinner, indulging myself, healthy habit, unhealthy habit, and so on. This is how the brain thinks. So let's think how the brain thinks. Look at weight loss management in terms of behavior. Number one, takeaway point for you, friends. Number two, think about making a plan where you have one unhealthy behavior that you are willing to quit today. Don't look at tomorrow, day after day after. What you postpone for an anniversary date is not going to happen. Okay, you are going to tell yourself that your next birthday, you will be telling yourself the exact same thing. It's not going to happen. If you want to quit smoking, and you tell yourself, okay, I have bought this packet, I'm going to throw this packet, I've already had my last cigarette, I'm not going to smoke from here onwards. It increases your chances of being a quit smoker and staying a quit smoker. That's not the beginning and end of it, but you have started. It's well begun, I will say. So therefore, look at one unhealthy habit that you are ready to quit. Small, not very big, a small unhealthy habit. It could be that I have that one slice of cake, or I have something after lunch, or I have 2 bowls of rice. I'm ready to quit 1 bowl of rice. It could be any of these things, friends, right? So it does not have to be something very big. It could be that I have a big bowl of biryani. I will have only half a bowl of biryani now. So it could be something like that. Pick up one unhealthy habit that you are willing to quit and start your journey with that. So point number two, pick up only one. Don't make a plan, but make a plan that has one unhealthy habit that you're ready to quit. Start with that. Do not feel impatient with yourself. Start with that and sustain that habit. Once you have been able to sustain that habit and you feel, I'm good to go, only then, maybe 10 days later, maybe 20 days later, maybe 1 month later, then you add one healthy habit that you're ready to indulge in. So for instance, it could be 20 minutes, I will walk in the garden opposite my house. 20 minutes, not less. 20 minutes will give you a good cardiac output. So therefore 20 minutes. Now this is one unhealthy habit you have been willing to remove, one healthy habit you have been able to introduce. You've got a plan with 2 sections, and month on month, keep on adding one unhealthy habit to remove. Next month, add one healthy habit to add. Keep on adding to your list, but month by month, fortnight by fortnight, not less than that. And you will find as the months go by, your list is getting more and more populated. On the one hand, your list is becoming heavier, but wonderful, your mirror is telling you that you are becoming lighter. So friends,
Yeah.
point number one, behavior management is the way to weight loss. Point number two, make a list, but one step, reduce something from your unhealthy diets. Number two, add something as a healthy habit. So take away one unhealthy habit. Number three, take away one healthy habit. 1, 2, 3. And from here, you will be able to sustain your plan. Just start with 1, 2, 3, friends, and believe me, it will work.
I think that was a wonderful answer. And from my side, it's all covered. Professor, over to you.
Dr. Savita, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. our topic was obesity, the psychology of obesity. And Dr. Savita has spoken about behavior modification. Just one new habit, give up one bad habit, pick up one good habit. Excellent advice, easily implementable. And we are so grateful. Dr. Savita, thank you so much. We came to you in an emergency when we had an issue with our earlier speaker. You were kind enough to step in without notice, and you did a very brilliant, learned, wise job in correlating the psychology and behavior modification with obesity. Suffice it to say, ma'am, that I am a believer. It is not just exercise and nutrition, but also behavior modification. Thank you so much, Dr. Savita. Dr. Wilku, thank you so much for putting this program together. Thank you so much for arranging the question and answer session. My colleagues in the back end, the IT department and Arabian Wellness, thank you so much for your support in that. And I believe next week we will be having another talk. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Here it is. Oh, okay. So it's Dr. Wilku next week. It's obesity and lifestyle medicine. Good. Excellent. We will see you all again next week. And thank you so much.